The words barely left her mouth before the room seemed to tilt. "Sir, my mom didn't wake up." The little girl stood near the glass doors of the corporate lobby, her small fingers clenched around the strap of a worn pink backpack. Her voice was quiet, almost polite, as if she were afraid of disturbing anyone. But her eyes, wide, glassy, and far too tired for someone her age, locked onto him. If this heart-touching story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more real kindness stories that restore faith in humanity. Ethan Hale, CEO of Hale Industries, froze. The world-renowned businessman, the man who negotiated billion-dollar deals without blinking, felt the blood drain from his face. His phone slipped from his hand and hit the marble floor with a sharp crack. The assistants around him stopped talking. Security turned. Everyone stared. He lowered himself slowly to one knee so he was eye level with her. "Show me," he whispered, his voice suddenly hoarse. "Show me now." The girl nodded once, relief flickering across her face, and turned toward the exit. Minutes earlier, Ethan had been standing in that same lobby, mid-argument with his board over a delayed acquisition. He was exhausted, angry, and already late. He almost hadn't noticed the child at all, almost walked right past her, almost ignored the tug on his sleeve. That almost haunted him with every step as he followed her outside. The parking lot was quiet, the early morning air heavy with mist. She stopped beside an old blue sedan parked crookedly near the curb. One headlight was cracked. Rust crawled along the edges of the doors. Ethan recognized the car instantly, and his heart sank. He knew this car. "Mom?" the girl called softly, opening the back door. "I brought help." Ethan's breath caught. In the driver's seat sat a woman slumped forward, her forehead resting against the steering wheel. Dark hair fell over her face. Her hands were still gripping the keys. "Laura," he breathed. The name felt like a ghost on his tongue. He rushed to the door, gently lifting her chin, checking her pulse. Nothing. His chest tightened as panic clawed its way up his throat. He shouted for security to call an ambulance, his voice cracking with urgency. The little girl stood behind him, hugging her backpack. "Is she sleeping?" she asked. Ethan swallowed hard. "Help is coming," he said, forcing steadiness into his voice. "You did the right thing." As sirens wailed in the distance, memories crashed over him, memories he'd buried under years of ambition and regret. Laura had worked as a janitor at Hale Industries 6 years ago. She was quiet, kind, always smiling, even when life clearly wasn't. Ethan noticed her because she treated him like a human, not a title. They talked during late nights when he worked overtime. Coffee turned into conversations, conversations turned into something deeper. Then she disappeared. No explanation, no goodbye. And Ethan, drowning in work and pride, never looked for her. Until now. The paramedics arrived quickly, pulling Laura from the car and beginning CPR. Ethan stood frozen, every breath feeling like borrowed time. The little girl pressed closer to him, instinctively gripping his coat. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Mia," she said. "How old are you, Mia?" "6. I turn 7 next month." Ethan's heart stopped. 6 years. He looked down at her again, really looked. The same deep brown eyes, the same dimple on the left cheek, the same way she tilted her head when she was scared. Oh, God. When the paramedics finally stood, their faces solemn, Ethan already knew. "I'm sorry," one of them said quietly. Mia didn't cry. She just stared at her mother's still body, as if waiting for her to wake up and scold her for worrying everyone. Ethan removed his coat and wrapped it around Mia's shoulders, his hands shaking. "I'm so sorry," he whispered, though he didn't know if he was apologizing to Laura or to the little girl holding on to him like he was the only thing left in the world. The funeral was 3 days later. Ethan paid for everything, quietly, respectfully. He stood at the back of the small chapel, watching Mia sit alone in the front row, her feet not even touching the floor. When it was over, he approached her, kneeling again. "Mia," he said softly, "do you have any family?" She shook her head. "It was just me and Mom." His chest ached. "There's something important I need to talk to you about, but first, do you want some ice cream?" She hesitated, then nodded. They sat on a bench outside the chapel, sharing vanilla cones. Melted ice cream dripped onto Mia's dress, and for the first time since that morning, she smiled. "Mama used to say vanilla makes sad days better." Ethan closed his eyes briefly. "Mia," he began carefully, "did your mom ever talk about your dad?" She nodded. "She said he was a good man who didn't know I existed. She said if anything ever happened to her, I should find you." She reached into her backpack and pulled out a folded piece of paper. Ethan's hands trembled as he opened it. It was Laura's handwriting. "Ethan, if you're reading this, it means I couldn't protect her anymore. I never told you because I was afraid you'd choose your world over us. But she's yours. Please don't let her feel unwanted. She deserves better than my fear." Tears blurred his vision. "I'm here," he whispered, pulling Mia into his arms. "I'm not going anywhere. I promise." Months later, the headlines exploded. CEO adopts daughter after tragic discovery. But what the cameras didn't show was Ethan sitting on the floor every night helping Mia with homework, or learning how to braid hair, or whispering apologies to a framed photo on the mantel. The day Mia finally called him Dad, Ethan broke down and cried like he never had before, because power, money, and success had never made him feel whole. But a little girl's quiet voice saying, "Sir, my mom didn't wake up," changed everything.